and you two starting talking about tarot. And it really piqued my interest, so I stuck with you, and I do not regret that. Every time you do pick a card reading or you do a astrology sign reading, it feels, and I tell you every time in the comments, it feels like you are channeling my energy. And I'm like, how does she know that? How is that even possible? So, but most importantly, is what you do on your channel is also things that you apply to your own life. So you're not just talk the talk, you walk the walk, and that's exactly what I like about the guests that I have here on at Health by Maha. I'm Maha, people. And welcome, everyone. Welcome for joining in Europe, on the African continent, although it is very, very early in the morning for you people. So I really, really appreciate that. You will not be disappointed. Olivia is that shit and more. So perhaps you can start by telling us a little bit more about you and the work that you do and how you got into it. Yes?
Yeah, for sure. Hi, everyone. My journey has been a roller coaster, but it all started with just like my self-healing and just wanting to have more self-love in my life. And, um, it's funny. It started with ending up in a crystal store and kind of like, oh, I want to I'm kind of curious about how crystals, the energies, and, impact me, but I didn't buy any. I went home and I had, over the course of a couple of weeks, I had a couple of dreams about crystals, very significant, life-changing dreams. And I don't really talk about it that much, but I had a dream about a couple of different crystals. And when I went into the store, the dream correlated with that crystal. And I was like, that's kind of weird. So it was
That
kind
is
of like a
really
rabbit hole. Yeah, it was beautiful. It was kind of like the rabbit hole leading me down little things, and I don't just say get crystals because they're pretty, or I'm into tarot because that's what people want. I've had personal experiences with them that helped me with my healing from being in toxic relationships and toxic situations. So that's kind of how it started. I'm huge on dreaming. I've always been a dreamer my whole life. I've had a lot of clairvoyant dreams. I just didn't know how to articulate it. I didn't know how to put it together. So as I went on, I realized that these were tools to help me and help everyone in different ways, kind of uncover who they are instead of discover. It's kind of like it's always been there, but um, that's kind of how I got started. It started with relationships, started with a lot of trauma, started with just like my life is rock bottom. I don't know how to get out of this situation, abusive relationships, and toxic cycles. And I was very desperate to find anything that could help me be just a healthy person, just attract a healthy lifestyle, not even just a healthy relationship, just like, why does my life look like this? So that's kind of where it started.
wow. This is powerful. Well, this is what I'm all about also. How do I get
Right.
to that healthy lifestyle? How do I make myself healthy holistically? So how do I make for me, it started with my body because it was kind of, I was so hurt. I was in a situation that it was so bad that it manifested into my body. Because since I understood that, in fact, it starts with your feelings. It starts with how you are deeply feeling, and then when it gets so bad and you're not paying attention to it, or you're not addressing it, or you are ignoring it, then that's when it hits your body, and that's how this hurt or that problem tells you, hey, or the universe tells you, look, you've been ignoring that for I don't know how many years and months, and now because you can't walk anymore, well, that was my case, I'm talking about myself, right?
Wow.
Because you can't walk anymore, you can talk anymore, you can't even get out of bed, and now you're going to pay attention to that. So what you're saying absolutely resonates with me.
Wow, that's powerful.
So can you tell us a little bit more about what an intuitive counselor is? Because that's what you do, right? Intuitive
Yes.
counseling and reading and healing. So tell us a little bit more about that.
So intuitive counseling, if you think about it, it's kind of like a watered down version of therapy, where I like to help people with their problems or with their concerns, or just being an ear to someone, just holding, I call it holding space for someone. A lot of us are going through different things. I purposely don't say, oh, I'm a tarot reader, or I don't use certain terms, just because I know that everything's about finesse. Everything is about the way things are delivered. And a lot of us are coming from religious backgrounds, as myself. A lot of people are coming from certain structures, and I don't want people to shy away from, you know, mistaking spirituality as a replacement for religion. So what I do is I work one-on-one with people, and I've actually worked with a few families recently, and I like to bring you into the space. And before I do a reading now, what I do is I clear my energy and I meditate on yours, and I pull a mini spread, and I just see what's in their energy right now. What do they need to release right now? Not so much, what do I want or what's going to happen? I'm not a predictive style type of energy type of person, and there's nothing against that for people who do. But what I like to do is just see what the current energies are and what blockages emotionally, energetically are in their field, and work with them. So some people I've worked with several sessions about deeply rooted things, and some people it's just, you know, I'm stressed out about my job. And so what I like to do is hold emotional and vibrational space for people. And a lot of times, like you said, someone could be having a physical, like for example, this girl that I did a reading with for her birthday, she was wondering, you know, why is my career where it is, and like what's my breakthrough? And it was really forgiveness. You know, she was getting sick and she was having issues with her body, but there was a lot of people that she needed to forgive. And so forgiveness is not, hey, let's do one reading. It's okay, let's work on it. I like to give people exercises, or like, here's some things you can do. Let's come back. Let's treat it like we're draining a poison out of our body instead of like trying to cut it off, because sometimes it's deeper, you know. So that's basically what I do, and I love working with people. And when we first met, I was doing it part-time, and now I'm doing it full-time, because there's just so many beautiful souls out there who we all want to evolve and better ourselves, whether it's health. And so I don't want it, for me, I go from a standpoint of like people, not tarot, not like, oh, you have to be into these things. I've done readings from people from all types of religious backgrounds and ethnicities and around the world, and it's really, really beautiful.
Yeah, because energy is energy, right? It doesn't really care about what as a human being you believe in, or what type of cultural background you have, or how you were raised. Energy is energy, and it's everywhere. So, and it's the same for everybody. Well, it's different for everybody, but you get what I mean. Like, it's just energy. All right. So what you said, and what I like most about your channel, is that you say it's all about the work. Because yes, people, healing is hard work. Healing takes a hell of a lot of your time, a hell of a lot of your energy, and of your money. Yes, I mean, let's be clear about that. Let's be honest, because at some point, in fact, you have to commit to it. You have to commit to yourself. You have to commit to your health. And that takes all of those steps. So can you tell us a little bit more about when you say on your channel, if you're here, it's because you are committed to do the work. It's not just about getting one reading, like you just said. And definitely your readings are not about, it's not like your traditional astrology that you will read in your favorite magazine or in your daily newspaper, right? It's not about, okay, so today is May 10th for you, or May 11th for me, and that planet, this planet, and you're going to get some money in your life. No, for you, you say that's not that. First, you have to do the work, and then you can get the you can harvest, in fact, what the work you put into your own healing and into what you want to attract into your life, right?
Yeah.
So tell us about the work.
Okay, so I'm a Taurus, for those of you who are interested in astrology, but I've always been like a workhorse, like let's put in the work. But a lot of times when people hear that there's work to do, they shy away, and they're like, what? And a lot of people don't understand that energy, there's energetic work, there's physical work, there's different dimensions of work. So when I say that, when I do a reading for you, I tell everyone now, come with a pen and paper and an open mind. You know, clear your energy, take a couple of deep breaths, expand your aura. And what I love to do is, okay, if this is what you want, if some people are so dead set on like, this is what I want. Okay, well, what needs to be released to get what you want? Are you willing? Are you willing? Sometimes we're not ready. We don't feel ready.
Mm,
Are you willing?
mm,
And so the work sometimes can be as simple as writing a list of 10 people, and yeah, 10 that you need to forgive. Even if you don't feel like you're ready, are you willing to sit down and do that work? So I call myself the vibrational work, because you don't ever want to do something in the 3D or something physically without being mentally prepared. You want to have a pairing. So I love, like, I don't I don't sugarcoat that. Like, I'm very much like, are you committed to yourself? Like, how much are you committed? And the beautiful thing about tarot is I will say, this is the energy that you're attracting when you do the work. I don't look at it until you do that work. So that's why it's nice to have those follow-ups, because I've seen sometimes people think that you can see everything, and the divine will allow me to see what I see. And sometimes that's just is what it is. And so when I do it work-based or energy work-based, it's so nice, because I've had someone who hadn't talked to their dad in 30 years, and they released
wow.
that on a full moon, and their dad hit them up, and I was like, and then all the people that they had written down had contacted them and apologized for things, and I'm like, man, like, it really, really, really works, and I don't say anything that I wouldn't do myself, and I think
Mm,
it's really powerful, because people always think work is physical, but there's different dimensions of work. So it's really really powerful, because sometimes we have blockages that we don't know. So when we're open,
yeah.
I like to go in there and be like, oh, okay, let's move this, let's move that, and then go. Not so much like, what is it? It's like, what needs to be removed? Okay, we'll look at that. We'll look all into that. But from an energy standpoint, not like, oh, my boyfriend. It's more like, okay, there's an energy that you've been, or kind of attracting, that maybe puts you down, or more self-confidence, things like that.
Okay. Well, speaking of that, I have tons of questions for you from my community, but I would like to start with my question because we are living in this time of coronavirus. And I don't know about you, but in my life, around me, I had a lot of people say, thank God the 2010s are over. This was a shitty decade. 2020 is going to be the year. It's going to be incredible. I'm the first one who said that those things, right? Because I got sick, and I spent the past 8 years getting where I am today, getting healthy, getting better physically, emotionally, psychologically. And I was like, yes, new decade, new start. This is going to be amazing. We want change. Everyone was all about that change, all about. So my question to you, Olivia, did we as a collective, because you like talking about the collective, right? Now, it's not just about the one person, but it's really the collective energy. So my very serious question to you is, did we manifest that coronavirus into our reality? Like, for real? Like this thing, because it's forcing us to change a lot of things, right? It's forcing us to sit with ourselves. It's forcing us to look at what we really want to do in life. It's forcing us also, well, maybe some people like me, I like to use this time to work on myself, organize these talks, reach out to other people, do some other stuff. Some people, they just discovered that they can't really sit with themselves. So I think that at some level, for each and every one of us, there's some deep, powerful internal work that is happening at the moment. What do you think? Do you think this coronavirus is working for us? Do you think that as a collective, we did manifest this type of energy that forces us to sit still and sit down for a while?
Yeah, I think that it's hard to say it like black and white, but I definitely do believe that we all collectively manifest our reality. Everyone, all of the collective, we're all at different frequencies, we're all asking for different things, and I definitely do believe that. Like, even if it's painful for some people to hear it that way, a lot of times, for example, if you want to attract, love, sometimes you attract, a lot of times people think that the things that we attract are only positive. And sometimes things that are perceived as negative can lead us to something positive. So healing, well, if you didn't go through those experiences, maybe we wouldn't be having this conversation. Maybe you wouldn't have your channel. Maybe you wouldn't be impacting people. So sometimes, unfortunately, when we look back, you know, it's a lot of collective energy that might manifest things that are not in the moment seeming to benefit people. But I really do believe that we all collectively manifested this, and we all collectively manifest a lot of things because it's all energy. And it's kind of like in life, I like to focus on what can I do about it? Because there's things we can control and there's things we cannot control. There's a lot of things in the collective we can't control. I can't control the rain, but you know, I can control having an umbrella for the rain, you know, making sure I have a place and shelter to live for the rain. So I like to focus on being in alignment with my higher self, with source, so that no matter what we attract on the collective, because there's so many of us, that like you said, how are you using this time? Some people I know are forced to sit with themselves and they're miserable. And I love helping those people because I'm like, okay, hey, because we all start somewhere. And I feel like a lot of people were looking forward to this year, like you said. And to me, this year has actually been very fruitful for me in my mind, in my energy, because I've had the time to slow down. I've been asking for it. We've all been asking for it, but we can't control how it comes. So all we can control is our vibration. So I definitely think that even though we don't want to hear it in that way, I definitely do think that we attracted that as a collective.
Perfect. You talked about vibration, and a lot of questions I had were about vibration and alignment. So the first question I have for you, so I try to mix them together to have only one or two questions per topic because there were a lot. Girl, you attracted a lot of questions. You are intriguing to a lot of people. So the first one is, how does alignment work? So how do you align with yourself? How do you find who you really are? A lot of questions are, but how do I do that? How do I know that I'm not aligned? How do I even, like, I have this self-awareness that shows me that in fact, when in my life everything is fine, I have the job that is okay. It's maybe not my dream job, or so a lot of people are like, it's maybe not my dream job, it's maybe not my dream boyfriend, it's maybe not my dream house, but I'm good. However, speaking about vibration, speaking about alignment, we hear more and more about that. So the question is, how do I know that I am not aligned at the moment? Does it have to be dramatic? Like for me, one day I woke up and I couldn't get out of bed. Does it have to be dramatic, or do some people feel like they are pretty comfortable in their lives? Well, they are pretty comfortable in their lives, but they still want to know, how do I know that I am aligned or not?
That's a good question.
Yeah, they have a lot of good questions like that.
A lot of questions. Okay, so what I like to do is like to break it down, like A, B, C, very small, like if you're going to cut up food for a kid, because sometimes spirituality is a beast and we're all on our journey. And so if I was talking to myself 5 years ago, I would explain it like this. Alignment is the feeling you get when you don't need anything. Have you ever just listened to a song and you're like, man, this is my song, and it reminds you of your childhood, and you're just driving with the windows down. You're not thinking about what bills you have to pay. You're not thinking about how much you weigh. You're not thinking about dinner. You're just into the music. And I use music because music is a huge way to pull in your frequency. And or when you're watching that show, sometimes, but I like to use music. We'll keep it simple. It's because when you're in a state of alignment, you're grateful. And when you're grateful, you don't ask questions. You give gratitude. So for example, if I say, oh, I really, really want this job, it's because I don't have this job. So automatically it's putting me in a place of lack. So a lot of times people think that they need to write affirmations or do vision boards like I have up here, or do all these things, and they're great. But if you're just starting out, when someone says something to you, if I say, why would you do that? The feeling that you get in your chest, that anxiety, that feeling in the pit of your stomach, that's misalignment, because someone is like, you feel their energy coming in. So for me, I like to start with ABC, 1, 2, 3 music. if I was watching this, find your favorite song. Just one song that when you think of it, like I used to love the soundtrack to Titanic, or I love Beyonce, whoever you love. Listen to that song. And just for a couple of days, for 3 days, because 3 is about creation, for 3 days, listen to that song. Don't do anything else. Because we put a lot of things out there when we're in lack. We're like, oh, I wish I had this. We've already defined, most of us have defined what we want. You can define it. That's great. But as far as alignment and vibration, it's a feeling. And it's not about, oh, one day I feel good, one day I feel bad. We're always finding our way. But the easiest way to tell if you're in alignment is when you're not asking. You're not in a place of asking. You're in a place of gratitude. And that's why a lot of people who are very successful, like Oprah, they keep gratitude journals by their bed, because it's something we have to train ourselves. It doesn't come naturally because of our programming. But I'd say that, to me, I just keep it at music. I won't give any other examples, just because it's a feeling. It's an energy. So that can help a lot of people. That's why you see people crying at concerts for Michael Jackson, or people falling out. It's not because they're obsessed. Now, there are some crazy fans and stuff, but music is a universal language, and it's vibration and frequency. So you can also go on YouTube and look up healing frequencies and sleep to it for 20 days. Just make a commitment. All you do is hit it, go to sleep. Right? What you're doing is you're committing to your vibration on a literal frequency level. And I would always say to start with music, and that will, you'll know, and you'll be feeling good most of the time. And you can actually attract things through your state of alignment through music without trying so hard. That's easy work. So not all the work is challenging, but I'd say for people who don't know anything, that's what I would say.
So first, if you want to feel if you are in alignment or not, are you in a place of gratitude, or is there something missing in your life? Is there something more that you want? And in order to start your work and to feel that, because it's about feeling, it's not about thinking, it's not about wanting, listen to your favorite music and dancing out. Dancing out.
And I know it seems, the thing is that what I discovered with working with people and doing it on myself, I don't say anything I don't do. I literally got into a car accident today.
No, are you okay?
I'm great, I'm fine. But my car was totally good, I'm safe. But the thing is that after I did all the stuff and I just took a couple of breaths and my car was okay, I was so grateful. I just stopped and I was like, what are you doing? How are you feeling? Just stop. And what did I do? I looked on my playlist. I didn't chant. I didn't meditate because I was pissed. And the thing, the misconception is that we're always, because we're light workers or we're helping people, that we're always happy. And sometimes you need to snap out of it. So I got my snap out of it playlist. I'm like, ooh, that sounds good. Put that on there. And sometimes it's rock. Sometimes it's trap music. Sometimes it's classical. So I feel like when I said thank you so much, that my car's not even scratched. I got hit from the back and my car's not scratched and I'm healthy and I'm here. Like, and because when you're in gratitude, you just attract everything that you're already saying. So when I do mine, I don't say, hey, can you please send me 10,000, please send me money. I say, thank you so much thank you so much for the money I have, because that's just saying, it's like you're putting out a signal, like, bring me more of this, because the question puts you in lack. And a lot of people, it seems counterintuitive, but questions automatically take us to a state of lack instead of gratitude.
So be grateful for what you are and you will bring more of it. No, it's really interesting. And that's how you can start working on your alignment. All right. Another type of question I have is, because it's me, I made a story about that, about do you know your moon? Because that's also how we started to connect together, right? Like when you said, you did a story a few months ago about do you know your moon, your Venus, your this and that, and or maybe you did a post about your Venus sign, and I was like, what is that? Like I went through our DMs before we started, and I saw all the questions I used to ask you and all the questions I used to hit you with, and I did receive them. So basically people understand how the moon it's widely documented, has an influence on the earth, on plant life and animals, because we are animals on earth. However, what is a little bit less well known or understood is how other planets have the same type of effect. So just quickly, in your readings, you say if you have like a certain sign in your sun, moon, or Venus, maybe that reading will speak to you. So just moon and Venus and sun, but sun is the type of sign everyone knows, like I'm Cancer, you Taurus, some other people are Virgo. So this we kind of understand, but basically, quickly, can you break it down for us a little bit? So what is Venus? What is moon? How do those two planets have an influence on us?
Of course. So if you think about it, your Venus, your sun is more of your ego. So it's like this. Think about how bright the sun is. The sun is so much energy. So most people might perceive themselves only as their sun sign, and that is what most people experience you as on a very basic level. But your moon sign is this, it's kind of like, I like to call it your shadow self. You know how everyone says embrace your ego, but you also have to embrace your shadow self, the parts of yourself you don't like. I like to call the moon that. It's your emotions. But if you think about the moon in reality, the moon's all over the place. You go outside, the next day it's in a different place.
Yeah, right.
Our emotions are meant to move. Our shadow self is meant to be embraced, but it's really like a cheat sheet. If you guys want a way to embrace your shadow self, look up your birth time, find out your moon sign. Your moon sign, actually, fun fact, is the only one that you don't really need. I'm not an astrologer, but I'm heavy in it. I know that your moon, you don't need your birth time. So a lot of people, if they don't have their birth time that they were born, they can find their moon sign with just where you're born in the day. But your moon, to me, is like the side that people don't see. It's the side of you that you don't show unless you're in a very intimate relationship with someone. It's kind of the part of yourself that you keep to yourself. So if you want to understand yourself more, dive into that moon, baby. Because, for example, I'm a Taurus. It's an earth sign. It's very like what you see is what you get. We're very practical. But my moon is also is an earth sign. It's Capricorn. So sometimes it can come off as that I'm kind of fixed or like, you're not very emotional, or like, how can I connect with you? But my rising is in Pisces. So it's basically, it helps you understand yourself more. And the Venus sign, the Venus is all about love. It's an aspect
it's
of love.
All about that love, sweetie.
All about that love. But Venus is kind of more the signal. I like to call it the signal that you put out that you subconsciously attract people with. You don't really try, and that's very important to know, because your Venus could be completely different from your sun, and you're like, why am I attracting people like this? Or why do people, it really gives you an understanding of your love language, your Mars also, but let's just keep it with the Venus. My Venus is in Gemini, so when you look at your Venus, you can see, Google that. Google just one planet at a time. Even if it takes you 3 months to understand one placement, you will be so much better off than trying to read the whole chart. Or if you want to like book a reading, you could book a reading and be like, hey, I just want to understand my moon. How can I use that with my other placements to help my life? And I promise you, that's what I did on myself since I was 15. I just studied my birth chart. And because I studied my birth chart, now I understand myself so much more.
So very practically speaking, how do you generate your birth chart?
Oh, sure. Just go on Google or go on any search engine and type in birth chart calculator. And it's going to ask you for your name, obviously, where you were born in the world, like the city and, the country. And then it's going to ask you for the time. Unfortunately, a lot of people don't know the time they were born. It could be on your birth certificate. But if it's not, you can at least find out your moon. And if you don't have any information on your the time you were born, you can look up your life path number, which will often resonate. You can type in life path calculator, and it will give you so much information. And it's kind of like a numerology perspective, but it all ties in. So I would definitely say you just have to know other aspects about yourself. It just makes this life so much easier. Like, it's just kind of like a cheat sheet, like for the work. You don't have to dig as hard and work so hard. There's people who can help you. Like you said, like you pay for things, you educate yourself. Like even if you don't know how, you can book a reading with an astrologer or someone like me or whatever and find out more about yourself.
So it's kind of a guide to your life, like a user's manual to your life.
I know it is. It really is. It really, really has helped you because once you understand yourself, then you can understand other people. A lot of times we're trying to understand other people. Like, I don't understand them.
Mm,
But do we really understand ourselves? Do you really know what makes you tick? Do you know your shadow side, your moon? Do you know, are you naturally more cold? Are you naturally more some people are really logical with their moon signs, but moon is meant to be water and soft and understanding and mushy. But if you have an element like air or earth, you're more practical. So you might need to be able to let someone know, like, I'm more of a practical, like, problem solver. I'm not much of a, like, as an emotional person, but someone who's really emotional might say, man, you're cold. But when you understand yourself, you know how to navigate around other people. Second.
yeah, because it starts with you, boo boo. It doesn't start with others. Everything you need is in you. It starts with you. Work on you. Let other people deal with their own shit. Deal with yours. Start with you. Very good. Very sound advice. Very sound advice. Quickly, you talked about rising. So what is your rising sign? For that, you need your time of birth, right?
Yeah, it's all on the chart. Your rising sign on your chart will be saying ascendant. It will say well, depending on how you read it, but it'll say ascendant, ASC. And that's another way of saying rising, but I call it your social mask. So right now you're looking at me, you're talking to me, you don't know me that well. You're like, okay, you're sizing me up like, okay, what is she about? That's the image that I'm putting across. The energy is my rising. I'm a rising Pisces. So,
Okay.
a lot of people, it's just a social mask. It's kind of like the packaging. If you were a watch, your sun sign would be the watch, but the packaging, the box, how it comes, would be your rising. So it's just another dimension of you. That's like an easy way to put it. There's several aspects of it, but that is probably, it's like your subconscious behavior. You don't really try,
Okay.
but it's
Okay.
definitely
Perfect.
how people perceive you. Yeah.
Ah, no, it's really clear. I like it. Very to the point. Lots of questions were about, because that's the world we live in, right? What is the best sign to be? Like, I don't know. I got a lot of questions about that. Like, I'm Aries, I'm Cancer, I'm Taurus, I'm Virgo. I think my sign is the best sign. I think that sign is the best sign. So what is the best sign? I'm just asking the questions.
Oh, no problem. Okay, so I feel like the best sign is a perception of whatever sign you are. A lot of times there's signs that are collectively hated more than other signs, but
Really?
yeah, and there's a lot of
Like,
signs that
we want names. We
you will
want
get me in
names.
trouble. You'll get me in trouble.
Okay, you tell me after. Really?
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll tell you after.
So that
But yes,
your son, like, collectively, we all have different type of reactions to different type of signs. Well, the
yes.
same
So for
reaction. I mean,
example,
wow.
you're a Cancer. I'll just use us for example. I'm
Yeah.
the Taurus sun. So, for example, I could say, "Oh my God, I love Cancer. They're so nurturing. They're so sweet. Oh my God, they're the mothers. They rule family. They're the mother of the zodiac." Doesn't mean you have to be a mother, but they're just the most nurturing energy. But someone, maybe a Scorpio, might say, "Oh my God, they're so emotional. How could you like a freaking Cancer?" They could take an aspect and they can flip it. Or a Cancer can be like, "Oh my God, I love Taurus. They're so grounded. They're so this." And then another person could say, "They're so stubborn. They don't, so
Okay.
everyone's favorite sign, once you understand the signs more, you'll realize that there's certain signs that the energy is kind of like this. Doesn't mean it can't work because you have lots of aspects in your chart, but some energies are just like, they just don't naturally mix. Like fire and water is typically, if you think about it, fire and water, it's
Yeah.
not the most synergistic energy. So it's not that it can't work, but when you look at your chart, you can say, "Oh wow, most of my chart is water, and my boyfriend, most of his chart is earth. I see why we get along because it's like how the sand meets the water, you know." So everyone,
Okay. Okay.
there's no sign that's better than another sign because everyone's got pros and cons, and no one is just one sign. but your perception of what you like will be because of your element and your placement. It's just energy. And just like how you don't get along with everyone, or you're not going to be everyone's best friend, it's the same thing for signs.
So you do you. And definitely
Yeah,
people look up your birth chart and try to see that you're not just one sign. I love that. You're not just one sign, you're many signs. So there's no something that is better than the other.
yeah. Count how many elements you have. You might have a lot of water, you might have a lot of fire. You could surprise yourself. And it's really cool to learn about yourself. It's like Avatar.
A question I had also a lot about, so we have two types of questions here about energy, vibration, planets, and some are a little bit more about you. So feel free to decline to answer if you don't want to. But the question that comes a lot is, do you have like a gift that was passed down to you from mother, aunts, sisters, or maybe not sisters, but I had grandmother, mother, aunts. So is there something, you said you've been working on your birth chart since you were 15. So you've always been kind of attracted to this world and to this type of part of the world of this type of energy.
Yeah, that's a good question. My family, even though I come from a very religious Christian family, my grandfather on my dad's side has had visions since he was a little kid, and my brother
Wow.
too, and a lot of my family. So yes, I can say, even though it was suppressed because of, how I was raised, it was always there since I can remember. Yeah. So now I'm just I forgot a lot of it, but now that I like consciously went after spirituality, I'm like, whoa, I just had a dream about that and that happened, or oh this, or I'm thinking about this and this person. I had a dream about this person, and then this person came and told me the same thing. So yes, a lot of it is in my family. It's on my dad's side specifically, but a lot of my siblings too. My brother, he doesn't need he doesn't need a tarot card to tell you. He's very, very intuitive, and so it's kind of like a normal thing in my family. It's kind of weird now. It's progressed this way, but yeah, it's definitely.
And see people, a lot of people ask about like other feminine figures in your life, but then you said it comes from your father's side of the family, because I had mother, grandmother, aunt, great grandmother, but no one talks about masculine type of person. Yeah.
Yeah, my dad and my mom has her own thing too, but a lot of it where we can see the trend of it is on my dad's side, from my dad, his dad, and then like my grandfather's mother, goes way back. But I didn't know that. I didn't know that growing up. I just now come into that knowing through the rabbit hole. Because a lot of stuff was not allowed to be talked about. And then now I understand
Okay.
why, because it's scary, if you don't understand stuff like this, because you're taught that this is all fear based.
Yeah, I hear that. I hear that. I hear that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Another question I have, how can astrology help with self-care daily? So basically how knowing my birth chart, how booking a reading or doing the work with you, how does that help me take care of me on a daily basis?
I think it's a really good question. I think about it.
Yeah,
Understanding your
my people ask very smart questions.
people
Yeah,
are
they're
like
like that.
they're like
Yeah, they're on that shit.
they're
Like they don't mess around. They want answers. When they're going to get up, they're going to hit that video and they want to hear you answers. So
girl, they're a reflection of your energy, which is so beautiful and so sharp with that Gemini. But anyways, that's a really good question. I think there's nothing more important than understanding your nature. There's nothing more important than understanding yourself. And if you're watching and you're getting into astrology and you're finding out, man, I looked at my birth chart or I did a reading and there's a lot of earth. And these things I would explain to people. I don't just say it. I'm like, here's some notes, here's a follow-up, here's how you interpret it. But just say you like, I have a lot of earth, I have a lot of fixed energy. Man, when I'm stressed, day-to-day stuff comes up, right? I'm stressed. I find that earth people sometimes need to go outside with no shoes on because they just need to, where is it? Ha! I have a crystal right here. They just need to feel something. They just need to hold something. And some people just need to go outside and feel the wind on their face. A lot of
Ooh,
times,
that's
you
me.
understand.
That's me.
Oh, really? Ah!
Yeah, that's me. I love although I am Cancer, my son is Cancer because since I've known you, I've researched that. My moon and Venus and Mars also, I think, are Gemini. And
Girl.
thanks to you now, I know that Gemini is an air sign, which I didn't know before. And now I understand why. And since I was a kid, I've always, I love water. No. I mean, no argument there. But really, when you ask me what is really my favorite, it's the wind. It's the wind. I can go with a windy day any day. Like it can be raining, it can be very sunny, it can be very hot, it can be very, very, very cold. As long as I have and I feel that wind right now, I have the fan above my head just swirling. The wind is my jam. It's my thing. So yeah, absolutely.
There you go, guys. Gemini is an air sign, so maybe you need to go outside and feel the wind on your face. Understanding your nature gives you the blueprint of how to navigate. It's almost like, in a lot of ways, we navigate because of how we're raised. And a lot of that is dogmatic structure, like think this, believe that, love this, don't love that. So now I call it reparenting. I'm actually writing a book about this because it's like a workbook because I believe in doing the work.
Exactly.
Not just, hey, feel better. Not, hey, just what's my horoscope? No. What is my nature when I'm emotional? Because emotions come up, like now in quarantine. Some of us are naturally hermits. I'm a hermit all day. I love to go out, but I'm naturally a hermit. But at the same time, helping people understand their nature is the blueprint for understanding their life. So astrology, although it may not be the same reading every time, but at least a couple of sessions for you to get how you are on an emotional level, it'll help you manifest quicker. It can help you with your relationships because when you're a better everyone's better and your life will improve by default. I like doing work that when you do it, it's by default. You know what I mean? It's like we're not priming a well every day.
You don't have to think about it.
Automatic, just automatic.
Okay.
And it helps a
yeah.
lot.
Wow.
It has helped me a lot too. Yeah, because you just understanding your nature. I just feel like it's so. It's once you get it, you'll be like, oh my gosh, this could save me like a year of work, or this I could have done this years ago.
Exactly. I have another question about more self-healing and breaking patterns. So how can astrology, but I feel like you already answered that when you say, like, look at your birth chart, try to understand the sub layers you are made of, not just your ego, but what is deep inside you. Feel first. Don't think. Don't be in the dogma that were passed down to you. However, some people ask, how can we use astrology to break cycles, to break some used generational curses? So how can we use that work that we do on ourselves to break those patterns? How can they help us?
Oh, that's a good
the
one.
astrology part. They are not messing around. They are not messing around. They want, like, they need answers.
They want the work. They like.
Yeah, they want the work. They want the work, apparently. Because I'm all about that work too. So.
Same here. So for example, I'll give you an example because I like to break it down. My mom is a Leo, and my mom's mother is a Sagittarius. Those are fire energies. Okay. Fire is very activation. It's let's do it. It's like my mom is very much, she's a Leo. She's like, let's do this, let's do that. I'm a Taurus though, and my natural nature growing up was more docile. So a lot of the patterns that I wanted to change that my mom did, because the pattern, sometimes you're born with the pattern. You know, you look like the person, weight issues, whatever. Like the pattern seems like it's been there. You look up and you're like, dang, the pattern's there. But my mom's natural nature is very different than mine. So when I use my astrology, I say, she might have been in relationships like this. My grandma has been in relationships like this. Okay, I'm trying to do it without any help. Now let me look at my astrology. All right. Oh, well, I'm a Pisces, and what's the cons? Because I'll go into the cons. I look into the cons of my signs. Well, it says that Pisces sometimes get easily taken advantage of because they're just so loving that sometimes they'll give too much. So I realized, okay, how in my relationships have I given too much? But it's not for people who don't want to look at the ugly parts of themselves. And like that's the work. Sometimes we think the work is like, oh, let me just go hire someone. It's like, no, but like, are you willing to look at the cons or the work of your sign? Not even just you. I'm not talking about you, what you've been through. I'm talking about Pisces, Taurus from an astrological standpoint. What are your shortcomings and how can you maximize that? Then you look at your family history. You don't just look at your family history and try to cut off generations of trauma. You look at yourself first, because if you can't look at yourself negatively, even from an astrologically, like I'm a Taurus. So Taurus, I love Taurus. So you can say, oh, they're dependable, we're reliable, whatever. But the cons of myself would be like, man, sometimes we can be really possessive. Sometimes we put physical things, like possessions, over people. Like, oh, well, this is my house. I love my house, but it's not a person. Oh, I love my stuff. Or I don't want to get rid of this. So I had to be like, dang, am I willing to really like release certain things? Am I willing to live a certain way to get what I want? Okay, so my family didn't make money. Am I willing to give up paying for certain things to advance myself? So that's how I've used astrology. I look at the pros and the cons of my chart. Then secondly, I look at the trend. And that's something I could do a reading about. It would be like, oh, what's the trend in your family? What is the energy that keeps getting repeated? Let's take that out and let's do the vibrational work with you. So it's so beautiful because once you look at it, it's very simple. But a lot of times we don't want to do the simple work because we have to it's repetitive and it's boring. It's like ABCs. You just when you sing to a child or you sing ABC over and over.
Oh, trust me, I know. I have a 2.5 years old here. And yeah, when we got to the W and Y and Z, I was like, yes, we're almost done. And daily she comes back and she wants to do the same letters. And yeah, I know what you mean.
It's like a lot of times we think we've been trained that the work is really hard, but I feel like the work is really, really repetitive and it's simple, but it's not easy because it's really challenging for us as adults to shrink so low, to be so repetitive, to be, oh, that can't be it. We want to slay the dragon one time in our life. We want to break the DNA. We want to break the chain of curses in our family or things that keep happening, but we don't want to. A little bit every day, a little bit every day, a little bit every day, because it's almost a trigger because we have to commit. So that's what I like to do, is break it down, make it real easy. You don't have to slay the dragon in a day. You can just slowly, and that's why astrology is beautiful, because it's like that music. It's just a tool. It's not the tool. It's just a tool that you can use to heal yourself with your focus on it, because you're not focusing on the negativity, you're focusing on bettering yourself through something.
I love that. You don't have to slay the dragon in a day. This is incredible. I'm just trying to see if some of the people here still have questions, comments, thoughts about all this. We have another Maha on the chat. Hi, Maha Ahmed, who says, thank you for that. Waking up to listening to watch the live was hard, but I definitely do not regret it. This is very interesting and your words resonate a lot with me. This is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Thank you. I'm Cancer. Aries is my rising sign. This is a very interesting mix. I bet. Yeah. I bet. I mean, I don't know, but
I used to work with kids, so and I knew I did with that placement.
So because for me, all the questions that we had, so we had a lot, but I tried to put them together because we only have 45 minutes. But on my side, all the questions you put into the question box, people were asked. If there are some other people right now in the chat who still want to ask Olivia for a question, otherwise we can definitely book a reading session with you. So can you tell tell us a little bit how that works. How do you do your work? How do you counsel people? How do you maybe guide them? I don't know how you like to call that.
Yeah, so what I do is I do one-on-one sessions. Most of them are over video. I do email, I do phone, and I do video chat with people from various countries all over the world. But what I like to do is before I do a reading with you, I will meditate on your energy. I'll clear anything that's in my aura, and I'll focus on you. And then when you call, I go through what I see. The first thing is like, what do they need to know right now? What needs to be released right now, and what's the positive outcome when they do that work? And then I always say bring a pen and paper, because then I'm literally giving you what the divine is saying specifically for you to release. And then we jump straight into your questions and we work through them, and we look at the energies, and we write. You're taking notes, and it's basically like, think about it like if there was like a rock, or like there's some sort of clog in a drain, and you want the water to flow. You want your energy to flow. You want to be in alignment. But sometimes the drain gets clogged. It's just life. So it's just, I like to look at unclogging the drain. And when you release that, the water flows. Instead of trying to get the water to flow, it's going to overlap, and it's going to get all over the floor. All you have to do is pull the plug, get in alignment. And it really, really does help, because a lot of people focus on their negative energy. This is not focusing on it. This is releasing it. A lot of times I'll have people do exercises with burning the paper after, or 5-day rituals, candle rituals, certain things. And it's really amazing. And all my stuff is on my Instagram. My website's on my Instagram. And it's amazing to see the changes in people. I love it. And it's for people who are consciously trying to get in alignment. It's for people who maybe have never done it before, or people who are curious about having a better relationships with people. So it's something you have to experience for yourself to see if this is. But it's a beautiful way to make your alignment with yourself better, but then everyone around you is affected by that. Whether it's one session or you do a couple of sessions. Some people book, like they would therapy like once a week, and that's cool. They only do it for 30 minutes, but that is just amazing, just to connect with people. And it's not scary. It's not like, hey, predictive. It's not like, hey, is my boyfriend gonna leave me? If someone was gonna ask me, hey, is my boyfriend gonna leave me? I would say, first of all, what is your energy right now in this relationship? What is theirs? And how do you need to get in alignment for the best outcome for you? It's not like, ooh,
Yeah, it's not about predicting the future. It's not about this type of, okay, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen to you. Exactly. You are in charge of you. You do you. You create your own life. You try to tap into those energies, and then either you accept them and you work with them, or you don't want to accept them and you work against them. But in any case, it's you. It starts with you, like you said, and it's about being very honest with yourself, and not being afraid of looking at the ugly parts of who you are.
And I don't want people to feel intimidated either. Like, for example, if you say, I really want to create this life, like I want to get married, or I want to make more money, like how can I create that for myself? It's still going to be like, okay, what do you think? What energies are in your vibration that are not helpful, not useful? What are in your energy that are really good? Keep focusing on that. Some people might pull the music card and it's like, oh yeah, dancing. Or some people might go for a walk or whatever. So it's all about the positive direction. I don't want anyone to feel like it's about just what needs to leave. It's always with a positive intention for you, for whatever you're going through.
Yeah, I'm definitely organizing a dance party with my kids this afternoon. Do, 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 do. I have earth, wind, and fire in my hair right now because we're talking about all of that. And yeah, we're definitely going to dance to September this afternoon.
Do it. Oh my God, I have to post a video.
Yeah, I will do that. So just Milosh Chidi Rebecca says, loving this live chat, so insightful. I've had a reading with Olivia and she is amazing. I agree with that. So accurate and beautiful energy. Thank you, ladies, for the beautiful vibrations. Thank you for being here. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you, Olivia, for your time. Thank you for all the great explanation you gave us. Thank you for answering all the questions. If people want to dig more into this with you, they can definitely follow you on at Olivia the Bull, because you do so much beautiful readings, and you have those also meditation challenges. So I feel like for you also, that's why I invited you. It's not just about kind of getting new clients. It's really about, it's who you are, it's what you do, it's what you practice every day, and you share it with the world. And I find it very, very, very beautiful. So thank you for being here. I always like to end those live on a quote the guest said, and that really resonated with me and with the whole talk. And for you, and because that's healing, that's health, that's life, right? We have to take it one day at a time. And when you say you don't have to slay the dragon in one day, I love that. I love that. It's like, look at your life, look at your energies, start with one thing. Start with one thing you want to remove, perhaps, and be grateful for what you have. Be grateful for where you are. I love that. I love that very much. I wish you a good night, because it's night for you, right? Me, I'm just starting the day. Have a great night. Have a great dreams. And thank you for being here, Olivia. And thank you everyone who joined in for this very, very, very special Insta Health Talk. Bye.
Bye. Sending you love and light.
See you soon. Bye.